Do
All
a
right, we're going
charity
live.
live stream.
Dude, we should totally do a charity live stream.
But
All
like
right.
we get the money.
The United Hispanic Fund.
The Feed the Teen Foundation.
Ooh, there you go.
All the money goes to feeding me. Tell me if you can hear this.
Nope. All right, so Dean, we are live. Let's do a normal intro and we'll get into it. I wanted to talk about a few things before we get right into the show, but it would just be real quick.
I don't see your face.
What do you mean you don't see my face?
I just see it says Collecting Weekly.
Do you see my face now?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
Welcome to episode 1 of Throne Talk. We are, it's been like 500 and something days, and winter is now here. And what better way to celebrate it than with some new Collecting Weekly content? Dean, are you excited?
I'm super excited, especially because I was absent last week.
You were absent last week. This is your return to the airwave, the return to Collecting Weekly.
Yeah.
And so, real quick before we get into the show, the Night King pop. It's all the rage right now. The
Holy
metallic
shit.
AT&T Night King pop. It was supposed to be street dated for April 26th, I believe, but it wasn't register locked, and they're already sold out in San Antonio. And people are asking a king's ransom for them, $100 to get you a metallic Night King pop.
100 shillings.
100 coins of gold.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so basically this show, we're going to do it, a day or two after the the episode airs for the last season. And it's basically going to be our thoughts, predictions for the following, basically a recap, if you will.
Yes.
What did you think about the episode last night, Dean?
Oh my God. Okay, so they touched on about every story beat I was hoping they would.
Yeah, it was a good episode, and obviously this is spoiler alert, we're talking about the episodes the day after they air, so we've seen it. If you haven't seen it, log off now. We cannot be responsible for ruining Game of Thrones for you, but yeah, you're right. There was a lot of things that I felt hadn't happened yet. A lot of big reunions, the biggest of which was at the end, obviously. But there was a lot of things that they touched on, a lot of cliffhangers from the last season that were addressed. And I was really excited to see this. And there was also some new developments, of course. Cersei giving Bronn the crossbow.
Yeah.
Joffrey's crossbow. What do you think about that?
That was pretty brutal.
I honestly think, this is my prediction, so first prediction of the episode, I think that Bronn's going to kill Cersei in the mountain with that crossbow. And then he's going to hit up Tyrion, because in season 7, the last they met, Tyrion's like, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. And she offered him 2 big old crates of gold. And I think he's going to try to spin that into 4 crates of gold. And that's my prediction. If Bronn goes through with it and kills Jaime and Tyrion, I will be gutted. I love Bronn. I would be gutted.
Yeah, I don't see Bronn siding with Cersei no matter what. He's already, not only has he already seen what Daenerys is capable of, he doesn't like Cersei. He likes Jaime and Tyrion.
Exactly.
So even if he goes all his way over there, he's just going to be like, yeah, she told me to kill y'all, but fuck it. Like, here I am.
Yeah, I got my gold. I got my crossbow. I'm good to go.
Right, you already got paid. Fuck it.
Oh, man, that's funny. That's good stuff. So, do you think that Nymeria and Ghost are going to play a big part in this last season?
Oh, you know what? I'm really glad you brought that up, because I completely forgot about them. And
last we saw Ghost, if I remember correctly, it was at the Wall, if I remember correctly, or was it at the?
I think it was just beyond the Wall when they fought the mutineers.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check, but it's been a while that we've seen Ghost, and obviously Nymeria was. I'm pretty sure it was Nymeria that Arya ran into on her way up to Winterfell, but it's kind of up for discussion.
Yeah.
But I think it would be neat if they saved the day, like there's something going on, and Nymeria and her new pack and Ghost come in. I think it would be fucking awesome.
I think it's interesting that only those two are left alive.
Yeah,
of
that's
all,
true.
because it kind of makes a big deal when the wolves die.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I think it's gonna have to play with the Starks.
yeah. I think you're right. So what scenes do you want to talk about, Dean? I have a few
Oh,
I have a few that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to get your opinion on a few
okay,
things.
the most anticipated scene for me, which would probably come as a shock, because everyone's talking about everyone else.
Uh-huh.
I knew the scene with Sam meeting Daenerys was gonna be awful.
I didn't. Okay, so I tried to rewatch all of the Game of Thrones
Uh,
episodes beforehand, but it's a lot to take in a
it
second
is.
time. And so I kind of just picked, like, the writers said, like, watch these episodes, and I was working my way through those, and just hitting up some episodes that I personally wanted to see again.
Right.
But I had totally forgot until my wife mentioned it that she had executed his brother and his father.
Yeah.
And I remember when the first time I watched it, I didn't really understand who those people were.
Uh,
And when my wife said it, I went back and watched the episode, and yeah, that's huge. And Sam
yeah.
took it exactly how I would expect anyone to take that news.
Well, so if you just only saw that scene, or you probably saw it but forgot about it, there's a scene where Sam takes Tilly and he goes back home.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
Okay. And and if you remember correctly, his family sent him to the wall because they thought he was useless.
Yeah.
So his family really didn't give a shit about him other than his mother. So really, it's a benefit for him because now he's the lord of his house.
Yeah.
He's the last Tarly,
Yeah.
essentially. Now he's the biggest fucking sweetheart in the show,
Of
and
course.
I absolutely adore that character.
Uh-huh.
So he took it about kind of what I was expecting, and I was like, God, I'm gonna be gutted because
Yeah.
he's such a sweetheart, and I know even though he shouldn't be, he's gonna be devastated. And
Yeah.
it's just a testament to his character that he's not rude to Daenerys. He doesn't treat her badly.
Yeah, he says, like, thank you.
He's like, let me, like, excuse me, I need to get out of here. Like, and
Yeah.
but like oh man, I was looking forward to that for 2 years now because I was like, fuck, like she killed his brother and he probably again didn't give a shit about his dad, but it's when he found out.
Well,
she
dude, it
also
was brutal though
executed
because
his
he's like,
brother.
well, at least I can go home now and see my brother, and she's like, oh, by the way,
Yeah,
that was so awkward.
and it's terrible for someone like John who's in between those two characters, and it's yeah, dude, I was really looking forward to that scene, and it was so awful.
Yeah.
In a good way. Like, oh my god, I felt so bad.
What did you think about the Aladdin show you the world dragon riding scene? That scene was so awkward for me
It was a
because
little
it's like
cheesy.
they
It was
they
cool.
they made a huge deal about dragon food, dragon this, dragon that. The dragons hate the north, and then they ride them, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna go hunt or they're gonna go do something,
Right.
and then all they do is take them somewhere so they can play grab ass and then take them back. Like it was such an odd scene when every budget being what it is for this show, as large as it was, like every scene you need to maximize the potential, especially since we only have 6 episodes.
Is it 6
just
or
felt-
is it 7?
I thought it was 6. It's
Oh.
6. Yeah, I think it's 6. But it just felt so out of place, and it's like it didn't really advance the story that much. And I feel like maybe you could have had Jon Snow riding into Winterfell in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
on the
but
dragon.
you would have missed that whole.
Yeah, but it
Like-
wasn't that cool of a thing. Like he just touched it and then he just got on. Like it wasn't like a big bonding scene. It was literally like they just offered to let him ride it. It was just
Yeah.
it just screamed too much of like Aladdin for me. It was
I
too
think-
Aladdin for my taste.
I think they needed a little feel good moments because that episode was tense as hell.
Well, and the thing is, like at this point, like in the early seasons, you kind of can think like, okay, I know that I'm pretty sure this person's not going to die because there's a lot of plot they need to wrap up.
Right.
But at this point, like when Tormund's at the wall and when that kid is on the wall and the White Walker kid comes alive, like he could have died right there. Like anyone can die at any point at this time.
Right.
At this point, so it's exciting, but I don't know. I just felt that was out of place.
I was gonna say even that scene ended tense because Drogon mean mugs the fuck out
Yeah.
of John. I was like, oh shit, like audibly out loud. I was like, fuck, like
Yeah.
that's not something you want to see. And you could see it in John's eyes, like, holy shit, this thing is like
Massive.
watching me.
Do you think that so I was listening to this podcast earlier that Manny sent us, and they made a good point about dragon health. Do you think dragon health is going to be a thing? I think it might, because you have two dragons that are, full grown versus one of the undead dragons. But if the dragons are up north and they're just not eating, they're not enjoying life, do you think that that's going to play a part in this epic battle to come?
I don't think initially when she's like, oh, they don't like the North, I was like, that's not it. I think they're upset that their fucking brother's dead.
Yeah, like
You
they
know
don't
what
want
I
to be here
mean?
because their brother died here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of how I took it. It was like,
Yeah,
it's not the North. They don't give a fuck about where they're at. It's
yeah,
their brother just died, and they're, creatures too, and they're probably just mourning. But yeah, I could see that, like, they're not full strength because they're not eating.
yeah.
Um, but fuck, that was such a good scene where Sansa's like, "What do dragons eat anyway?" And Daenerys just
Whatever
fucking
they want.
side eyes whatever they want. I was like, "God damn, that was good."
It's good stuff. Do you think that Dany will bend the knee when she finds out the news that Jon Snow is the rightful heir?
Oh my god, dude!
And
I
and,
don't
and I
know.
guess there's a second question that I'm going to ask to that, but I want to hear your opinion on this, because it's kind of like, how do you prove it? Like, I guess you have the Maester's diary that might prove some of it, but a lot of it is from Bran's vision.
Right.
And I guess Bran at this point isn't openly disclosing. He tells people he's the third eye raven, but no one really knows what that means.
Right.
And it's like, if you're Bran, this obviously is true, but it's like, you can't prove it. Back then it's like, oh, I had a vision that and I think that John took it as good as I thought as he would have taken it. Like, you're telling me my father, the most honorable man that I know, would lie to me. And, it's obviously for the greater good that he had to protect, the people that were involved, and also John himself. So I think it's kind of an interesting thing that happened. And I guess I was maybe a little weirded out that Bran didn't tell him himself, because I feel like the next thing is like a bunch of questions. Like, how do you know this? Why this, that? And I feel like it would be just easier if it was Bran delivering this news. What do you think about that?
Unfortunately, I think that's one of those plot holes where everyone's just gonna accept it. Like, oh, okay.
Kind of like the Force. It's like, oh, it's just a thing. Like, they're just gonna
like, because really you can't prove it. There's no DNA evidence. It's just his word that he's Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those things where people are just gonna be like, okay. Because John accepted it, really.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like maybe they're pressed for time. It's like there's not a lot of time for them to dig into this,
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as much of a thing as we probably think it's going to be. Yeah. As for Daenerys, I don't think so. I
think she's dead set on ruling this throne.
Honestly, I think John doesn't give a shit about the throne.
You think he's just not going to even mention it?
I'm thinking he might not. Or even if he does and they win and they defeat Cersei, he's just going to be like, I just want to be a Stark in the North. Like,
like bend the knee, I guess.
You wanted this, I didn't.
Yeah.
And he'll probably relinquish. But I don't know, man. I have no idea. What's the second question?
So, I guess Gendry... my question is, Gendry, wouldn't he be the rightful heir because he's actually Robert Baratheon's blood? Because the Targaryen family was conquered by the Baratheons, so they have direct claim to the throne.
Yeah.
And when Sam was telling Jon, like, "Hey, you're the true heir," it's like, well, hold up, like, Gendry is a Baratheon.
Yeah, Gendry's technically the heir. It wasn't Joffrey.
But who knows?
Because Joffrey is not
exactly.
a Baratheon.
So then, who alive knows that Gendry is a Baratheon? Just Varys, right? Because Littlefinger died, Ned died.
Yeah,
I can't imagine who else. And obviously, Robert died.
I know Melisandre knows.
The Red Witch, right?
Yeah, and I'm assuming Davos.
Yes, I think you're right. So I'm almost wondering if
he was at Dragonstone when all that shit happened with
Yeah.
Gendry. Actually, he's the one that set him free. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gendry's just such a fantastic character. His whole arc is just amazing.
dude, I would love it if he sat on the throne at the end.
It would be fantastic.
But he hasn't been in the show enough to
be a satisfying ending.
Yeah, to have followed that character's story and been like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So he might just die. I don't know. Which would suck because I really do like that character. Actually, I'm kind of hoping him and Arya hook up.
Dude, so speaking of which, I've been looking at the screenshot all day, but I don't understand the weapon that she wants him to build.
I don't either. I was about to watch a video actually on Nerdist about it. It looks like it attaches to the dagger that she's carrying. Because he looks at it and then he looks at the dagger and he's like, what is it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I was watching some theories, and one that stuck out to me was that Jon and Tyrion are Targaryens as well. Obviously, we know Jon is, but that Tyrion would be one as well, and that's why his father hated him. That's why the dragons didn't kill him on sight in the pit. What do you think about that theory?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty decent theory.
It is. It really is, actually.
But I'm not sure.
And also the theory that Littlefinger's still alive. I love that theory.
I've always said that. There are so many scenes before he gets killed
that are just so unexplained.
It's like, wait, what was the point of the scene? And he's shown, because if you remember, he's from Braavos.
Yeah, he's from Braavos, and before he dies, he hands the woman the coin.
Which looks exactly like the one Arya carries.
And not only that, but it's so out of character when he dies, how flat-footed he gets caught. You know, when they do the whole thing in the Great Hall, and they're like, "How do you answer to these charges?" He just seems totally out of character once he demands to take him back to the Vale, and the guy's like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Dude, my perfect ending for the show, honestly, is everyone fucking dies and Littlefinger comes out of nowhere and sits on the Iron Throne. Because that was his goal the entire show.
Yeah.
And like you said, he kind of just dies out of nowhere. There's no explanation as to the scenes leading up to it. So that, dude, I would love that because I love that character, even though he's slimy and shitty and the worst.
I mean, he's an embodiment of the whole show.
Yeah, I just love Littlefinger's character.
Yeah.
Again, there's only 6 episodes, so
it's like a lot's gonna happen this next episode.
I feel like if it's whoever is gonna win in the end, it's either gonna be everyone dies or Jon or Daenerys. It's I don't see it ending any other way. With now it's only 5 episodes left. You know what I mean? So
there's another theory that I thought was really good, that Sam is the narrator of the books, and when he's in the Citadel, one of the maesters that he's talking to is writing a book, and the book is like the wars that followed the death of King Baratheon, or something like that. And Sam's like, that's an odd title, and I think he mentioned something about the title could be more poetic. And I think that at the end, it's like the book is going to close, and it's going to be Sam as an old maester writing the Song of Fire and Ice.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Or whatever the book is called.
The Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah. So I think that would be a cool ending. The memes though from this episode, the elephant thing, all the Bran memes. Which one's your favorite so far?
I saw one that was like Game of Thrones spoilers with no context. And it's one of them's like Cersei riding Dumbo.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one? It was like 3 things and they were so funny, but I'll have to post on an auxiliary after we get it done here.
Yeah. I like the one that Manny sent me of the WWE or with the guy attacking the dude in the wheelchair, and it's like when Jamie sees sees Bran.
Another one I really liked was it's Dwight and what's her name? His wife from The Office. Angela. Uh-huh. And it's like everybody at Winterfell, and then she's Bran, and he looks at her, he's like,
oh, he's like,
yeah. Yeah, because he like sneaks up on everybody, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. So who's your prediction to take the throne?
Honestly, it'd be hard to believe if it wasn't Daenerys because she's been around since episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Jon has no interest in the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else's stories seem like they're not going to get there in 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So reluctantly, I'm going to say Daenerys, but a part of me doesn't.
It's too obvious. If
This
it's Daenerys.
show, yeah, the show is so crazy at fucking people that you love or like going astray from the story you think is happening that like I honestly couldn't even take a guess.
Yeah.
Like a really educated guess. Cause
Yeah.
even if all the evidence pointed to yes, it's Game of Thrones, so they could just shit all over it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Jamie. I think I changed my answer between yesterday and today.
Did you listen to what I was saying about the Azor Ahai?
Yeah.
I think.
So tell us here.
Okay, so I've dove into the lore and the prophecies of Azor Ahai,
Yeah.
and I think it's Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks it's
The little
Jon
brother.
Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cersei's prophecy is that she's going to get killed by her little brother, who she's always thought is Tyrion. But Jamie's younger than her.
Yeah.
He's already the Kingslayer. And there's this like this beat in the prophecy where the prince who is promised will bring the dawn, and he carries a sword of fire, Lightbringer, and the he tried to forge the sword 3 separate times. The first time he forged it and tried to temper the sword in water, and it cracked.
Mm-hmm.
The second time he tried to temper the steel in the heart of a lion, and it cracked. And the third time he does it to his wife, the love of his life. He stabs her through the heart, and he's able to use the sword.
Yeah.
So Jamie's story arc
matches up.
It matches up pretty well because when he loses his hands and Brienne and him escape and they're in those like hot baths,
mm-hmm.
he breaks down emotionally as a character.
Yeah, he totally changes after that.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh my god, help the Kingslayer!" And he's like, "My name's Jamie."
Yeah.
So he breaks away from the Kingslayer persona. So it's like the sword breaking in water. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, he lets Tyrion go from prison, and Tyrion shoots Tywin in the heart.
Yeah.
So it's like the steel breaking in the heart of a lion, because the lion is the sigil for House Lannister.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I'm thinking he goes back to King's Landing and something happens and he kills Cersei because she has no interest in fighting. The Lannister army is staying in King's Landing. She's like,
and the Golden Company.
And the Golden Company. She's like, fuck them.
Minus the elephants.
We'll kill them. Yeah, minus the elephants. We'll kill whatever's left after the war, which she's a fucking moron because everybody that dies is going to join the army.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he goes back to King's Landing, maybe with the hounds, and the hound finally kills his brother. And he kills Cersei, plunging the sword into the heart of his wife. And he's able to gather the banners and come save the day. Only the Prince's Promise can bring the dawn. So he's actually Azor Ahai. Everyone kind of thinks it's Jon Snow. Of course, there's a lot of
maybe. Let me interject here for a second. So the first attempt to temper the sword was water, correct?
Yeah.
And then fire was the second one?
No, the second was the heart of a lion.
The heart of a lion, and the third is the wife, right?
Yeah, through her heart.
What if Tyrion is Azor Ahai? Because he totally changed personas at the Battle of the Blackwater Bay.
Okay.
And then
that's what I was gonna say. There's so many characters.
He shot Tywin in the heart of the lion, in the heart. And then what if he has to kill Sansa because Sansa's going on a rage trying to stop the North from allying with these people and just being an asshole, and he has to kill her for the greater good.
Oh,
Ooh, that's his wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically. Yeah, I mean, Jon Snow also has a lot of like story beats that line up with the prophecy.
Of course.
Um
The Hound
some
does as well.
The Hound does as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like fuck, like there's so many people, but there's a scene at the end of season 7 where
Mm-hmm.
Cersei is standing on the map of the world.
Yes, you told me this yesterday. Yes.
And she's standing, and it says it on the map. You could read it clear as day. Where she's standing, that's called the neck of the continent.
Yeah.
And Jamie is standing just to her right on these peninsulas that jut out, and they're called the fingers.
Yeah.
And so people are saying, like, oh, like it's foreshadowing he's gonna fucking strangle her.
Mm-hmm.
And he has that gold hand. And it's like, oh my god, like I think he's gonna kill. I've always thought he was gonna kill her because he's already the Kingslayer.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's actually Jamie, because his story arc is so different than everybody else's. Jon Snow's just like, I want to help the North and help people live and survive and defeat the Night King. Daenerys is like, I want to fucking rule everybody and everyone should bend the knee. Cersei's like, I want to remain powerful and fuck everyone else who thinks otherwise. But Jamie has this like, he's really loyal, and then he's like, I'm doing fucked up shit, and he kind of relents, and then he gets kind of sucked back into Cersei's doing, and then he's like, fuck, she's a mad queen. I've been here before with the Mad King. And like, he's finally like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, you promised we were going to help fight. I'm going to go fight. And if you don't want me to, kill me here right now. Which I thought he was going to get killed by the
Dude,
mountain.
I totally thought he was going to get killed.
And he manages to leave. And so I think, I don't know if he'll sit on the Iron Throne, but I definitely think he's Azor Ahai.
Do you think that Cersei's actually pregnant?
No.
Because she says it in season 7, but she kind of gives.
No, she's also a fucking maniac liar.
Who's the uncle? The what's his name? The pirate guy from the Iron Islands. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Well, when he's like, "I'm gonna put a prince inside of you," and she gives him this look.
Yeah,
but it's a very mischievous look. I don't know if it's like there's already a prince in there, and I'm gonna cuck you like I did Robert, or if it's like.
I think that's exactly what's happening. So if she is actually pregnant, she's gonna make that guy think it's his kid.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking in that part of the episode. But then again, it's like there's 6 episodes. How much time are these 6 episodes going to span where that might come into effect? You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, not a lot of Nightwalkers in this episode, which I was kind of surprised. Obviously, the one.
Yeah, I thought the fight was going to start immediately.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm trying to figure out is the symbol that the Night King uses. It was a symbol from the first episode. The symbol from the
when Jon Snow goes north of the wall and they cut the horses in half.
But also from the first episode from there, and then from obviously last night's episode.
No, they also do it again.
Okay, well, they do it several times, but
yeah.
But is that like his sigil or something? I don't know.
I guess, but they do it every time. It's a spiral.
Yeah, it's a calling card, dude.
When Tormund was talking to Beric and the eyes go,
I have blue eyes.
Like,
oh.
No. When he's and the kid's hanging on the wall.
Yeah,
and I barely caught it, but it was one of those things where you're like, something's different. Like
the eyes,
changed. And like I just like shifted my eyes over. I'm like, oh no, get away from the fucking wall. Because I love Tormund. Tormund and Beric are like 2 of my favorite characters on the show.
Wait, Tormund and who?
Sir Beric.
Oh, okay.
Dondarrion.
So it's funny because Game of Thrones is one of those things that spans race and age and all these things. Everyone likes Game of Thrones. And it's funny because last night, we're recording this on Monday, obviously, but last night, my parents at 6:30, I don't know why, they were like, hey, we're coming over for dinner. And I'm like, whoa, like, I just want to let y'all know you're welcome to come to dinner any day, anytime. But at 8 p.m., I'm going to be a bad host. I'm going to sit down and I'm not talking to anyone for an hour. Maybe even longer if
Right.
Jamie, maybe even longer if Jamie dies. And they're like, that's fine. And they're like, we just want to see the baby. So they came, and my grandmother surprised me because she showed up also. And I thought that was cool. And I was talking to my grandmother before dinner, and I was like, "Hey, you know what today is, right?" She's like, "What?" And I was like, "It's Game of Thrones Day." And she got so excited. She actually has been watching Game of Thrones since the beginning.
Dude, that's funny you say that. The whole reason I watched Game of Thrones was because of my grandmother.
Hey, so check this out. So my uncle died last year, and my grandmother and my uncle would watch it, you know, every Monday, the Monday after it aired.
Uh-huh.
They would record it and they'd watch it during lunch on Monday. And when my uncle died, she canceled the cable and all the internet and everything because she's like 80. She doesn't do that, the cable and the internet stuff.
Right.
And so she was telling me like, oh, I'll just watch on the DVR. And I was like, well, Grandma, if you canceled the cable, then your DVR doesn't, it's not going to get the new episodes. Yeah.
Right.
She was super bummed out. And I was like, but you're welcome to stay and watch it with us. And she got so excited. And it's funny because she hasn't watched any Game of Thrones since the end of last season. We've been watching it a lot. But she was right there, beat by beat, like knew all the characters, was like, oh my God, that's it. And it was so weird because my grandmother, this is like the most bonding that we've done since my uncle passed away because, she's been dealing with a lot of different things and the emotions that go with losing your son. And she was just so happy to be there watching Game of Thrones with us. And, really, I feel like it really kind of took her back to when my uncle was still with us. And it was just so nice because she was just like, oh, before we started, I was like, Grandma, who do you think is going to sit on the throne? We were just talking, and it's so funny because my mom was there and she's like, you know about all this? And my grandma was like, oh yeah, I love the show. And she's like, you have to get past like the nudity and the cursing. But she's like, other than that, I love the show. And it's just so funny. She was so happy. And she's like, do you mind if I come over next week? And I'm like, look, anytime, you're welcome to come over. And so I think these watch parties, my grandmother's going to be there. We're going to be watching them.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool. But I got to give prompts to HBO because I was really worried there was going to be some hiccups with the streaming. We did HBO Go, so we watched it at 8 o'clock.
I heard a lot of people were having problems with HBO Go.
Really? I had no issues.
I was working 6 to midnight, so I didn't get to watch it live. But I had customers that would come through and like, did you watch it? Did you watch it yet? Like, did you watch it? And most people were like, no, I don't watch it, or oh, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Oh, you were asking them?
Yeah, customers.
Oh, okay.
Because I just want to know if it was good. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And the few people that said that they were gonna watch it were like, well, I have HBO Go or HBO Now, and it wasn't working, so I couldn't watch it. Like, it wouldn't load. So, but they're like, it's kind of normal when there's season premieres.
Yeah.
That it happens. I guess there's just like an overload, which we've talked about before. It's like, how is this still a thing? Remember with the Lego thing? People trying to order and it crashed the site. It's like, this is a thing. How is
like Avengers Endgame tickets? Millions of people want to see this movie.
Yeah, like are you not server ready for this?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people were disappointed they couldn't watch it until like the next day. But I watched it at Rainer's house. He was nice enough to record it for me, and he was like, "Hey, whenever you get off work, just come on over and we'll watch it."
So Rainer watches Game of Thrones too, right?
He stopped watching like season 3, so there was a few scenes I had to explain to him really quick.
Yeah,
like, oh, they used to be married.
Tyrion and Sansa.
Yeah, Tyrion and Sansa, and they haven't seen each other in probably years.
Yeah.
So that's why there's tension here, which I didn't understand why she was giving him so much shit. He was so good to her.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck are you being such an asshole to Tyrion right now?
Like you literally escaped, got off scotch-free, and then he had to deal with the consequences.
You fucked him. He should be pissed at you. But anyway, and then like the scene with Sam and Daenerys, I was like, fuck, dude, like she executed his family. Like this is gonna be awkward as hell. Or like, oh, Arya hasn't seen Jon yet, and what? How long is this?
I don't know how many years it is chronologically, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. And so there was a few scenes I had to explain to him, but he enjoyed it. He was like, "Wow, that was great." And so he knows most of the characters and who's who and why they're doing what. So there was just a few things I had to explain, but yeah. So I think I'll be going to his house every Sunday because I'm off work for like a month, so I'll get to watch like 4 episodes in a row live.
Nice, very cool. Well, I think this was a good Throne Talk. I think next week Manny might try to join us, or Seth, whomever. Maybe we can get some Ox members on Throne Talk.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff we didn't cover, like the North kind of abandoning Jon. And
that's fucking. Well, that's so annoying. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, because it's like,
bigger
guys,
things.
you understand what's about to happen. Like I can't even fathom why they would be acting like that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like lady, what's her name?
The little girl.
Yeah, she's such a badass.
I don't remember her name. I know you're talking about.
Isn't it Lyanna?
Yeah.
I forgot. Anyway, yeah. So Lena something, but or Lyanna something, and she's such a fucking hard ass on the show. I knew she would have some shit to say, but it's like, guys, like, I guess they're not gonna get it until it happens. You know what I mean?
Because they haven't seen the White Walkers,
right?
I think like once you see it. Like Jamie, he didn't really believe it, and then he saw it, and he's like, "Man, fuck this! I'm going up north." Like,
right.
I think they just have to see it to believe it. But, anyways, what did you think of the edit that I did of you for the Collecting Weekly, the video?
So fucking funny, dude. I think my head could have been a little bigger, but it was funny.
Well, your head's plenty big enough. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. See if I show up tomorrow for the recording.
Yeah, don't injure your knee again. We need you there. The show had a notable absence.
Dude, so I don't know what happened. Jesse and I went to go see Shazam on last Saturday, right? No, 2 Saturdays ago. Not this past one, but the one before. And I had gone to work. I came home, ate dinner, I was hanging out with Corey, and then we went to go see the movie. And like by the time I got to the theater, my knee was just so stiff. And I had heard it a long time ago playing football. So it gives me problems every now and then. But by the end of the movie, I couldn't bend my knee.
Yeah.
And like I had to like drag myself into my car.
Yeah.
And by like Thursday, it felt okay. Friday, I went to work. Saturday, I went to work. And by Saturday night, it hurt just as bad. And I was like, fuck, like I'm going to have to call in sick to work again. This is so painful. I go to bed and I was like waking up with like this knee pain. Because, when you're asleep, you just toss and turn. Well, I would toss and turn with a hurt knee and it would wake me up because there was so much pain. And then I woke up right before work, no pain at all. And I haven't had knee pain since. It was the weirdest thing. Well, so I will be there on Tuesday. Tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to get there early because I don't have work now. So.
Ooh, what time do I come over?
Whenever's good for you, I could bring the Vader helmet. And what else do we need?
Bring snacks. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about this. We'll text. But thank you guys for listening to Throne Talk, episode 1. I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
Catch you next week with hopefully good news about Jamie.
Yeah, message us your thoughts on the episode.
Yeah, and if you want to be on Throne Talk, if you're a member of Auxiliary,
dude, you can join on the
chat. You can be an official Throne Talker. Ooh, that's a good ring to it. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.